That's a pretty fish.
Welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year from 54 Bust. And today we're going to do a little wind up on the best lures that we found in 2021. And we're doing this because you guys voted on one of our polls in the YouTube community, and this is what you guys chose. So we are going to run down the lures that we had the very best success with in 2021. Stick around. So without further ado, I'm going to start with one that I got late in the year, and this is the Ripper from Top Line Baits. So we didn't actually get the Ripper until late in September, so we didn't actually get a lot of time to use this. But when I seen this, and I talked to Adam at the Nestor Falls Muskie Cup, and he gave us a couple to try, I was intrigued just by it being a tube style bait, and you can use this everywhere that you can use a tube, and I've attached some video on how we use it and a couple fish we caught on it. And what makes this so unique is that it just doesn't collapse in the body like a tube does. You don't get the tears on the head of it like you do a tube, and you can use it exactly like a tube. You can jig this, you can pull this, you can pop it, you can pull pause. And we caught a couple really nice fish on this one towards the end of the year. And it's one that I just think it's one of the most revolutionary lures that I've seen in the past couple of years, and one that I think is going to have a really big year in 2022. And I do have a couple other styles of it that we will be using. This is a newer Cisco pattern Adam sent me. I don't even have hooks on it. And then this is the new mini Ripper, and that's just my hook for hanging it. So we'll definitely be running these early next season. It's going to be a bait that's going to be probably a core part of our arsenal. And let's check out some attached video on this thing underwater and a couple catches, and we'll be back with number 2 in a couple minutes. I just got this bait last weekend from Adam at Top Line Baits. This is the new Ripper. I've been throwing it for a little bit. This is our third spot, I think, Kyla. And this one hit way out in the weeds, so let's have a look at it. He's pretty feisty. Here he comes. Oh, it's actually a little bit bigger than I thought. There's one. Get the net. Oh, it's a nice one, guys.
Fuck, I don't know how to work that thing, Dave.
It's like a nice one. In there.
Nice.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. If you guys like this type of content, just go down there and hit the subscribe button. There's going to be all kinds of cool content like this all year in 2022. Next up, one that really kind of caught us off guard is the Soul Searcher by Bangarang Custom Baits. We got one of these early last year, so almost the tail end of the winter. I think it come from one of the shows. I'm not sure exactly how I got it from Nick, but we did have one pretty much in this same pattern here, and we caught 3 or 4 fish at the beginning of the year right off the get-go, and it was one of those baits where we were just like, we couldn't believe how much action this little bait was getting on our waters up here. And I'm going to be completely honest, we did run into some problems with the early batch. The lip on mine actually come out. I'll attach a picture here. You'll see it. And I talked to Nick, and I pinned up the lip myself, and I used it towards the middle of the summer, and I ended up giving my only one to my buddy Matt so that he could try it out. And we didn't get these other 2 until late in the season, so these ones haven't been run. But this is another bait that I think fits a really cool niche inside of the muskie market. It's a twitch bait. It's you can straight retrieve it. You can pull pause it. It's kind of a modified glide style twitch bait, and it's one that is just really unique, and I think it's one that everybody should probably have in their arsenal, and it's one that we're going to be throwing a lot as we go into next year. There you go, Nick. Another soul searcher fish right there. Hit her hard. This is definitely a low 40s. Little one we got. I'm using a soul searcher twitch bait. That's this one here. Tail's ripped right off it. There, it just hit way out from the boat.
Got him?
The little guy, right? We're fishing this area because my father-in-law had seen a bigger fish in this area. It's a musky. Yeah, I thought it was a smaller tiger here at first. Look at the little tiger. Moving on to number 3 in our list, and again, this is in no particular order, is the dive and rise style of bait. Anybody that knows us up here, anybody that's followed us on socials know that we use a lot of dive and rise style baits, a lot of suics. And again, anybody that's followed me, they know this bait. This is the one we call the one. This is an old silver jailbird suic. We've caught, this thing's probably seen 50 plus fish on it. Last year, I ended up getting the Harvey Javelin from my buddy Matt, and pretty much straight away in the water, we started catching fish with it. I was using it very similar to a suic. We got a real big fish on eagle on it. It actually destroyed some of the epoxy around the nose of the lure. I sent it back to Todd. He completely rebuilt it, and he rebuilt it in this semi-silver jailbird pattern. I have another one, similar size, green pattern. This one's caught a fish. And it's just such a unique lure with that little bit of belly roll to it, and with the weight that you can change. It's just so much you can do with this lure, and it's one that I kind of fell in love with last year. Not that it replaced my suics or any of the other dive and rise, but it just found a really unique spot in my arsenal, and it's a lure that I found that I was just going back to very often. So let's check out some of the underwater footage, and let's check out one of the really big fish that I caught on this very particular Harvey Javelin. Stick around. There you go. That's perfect. Okay, now just let it hang.
Oh God.
And I just put on this Harvey Javelin dive and rise, and I was just working it slow over the deep part of the break, and it hit way out. Dive and rise. So this is a Harvey Javelin, and it hit it way out from the boat, just crushed it hard, doubled us over. Mid-Lake 51 right there. We'll take her. Moving on to bait style number 4 is, it's kind of a couple baits, but I'm just going to call it rubber baits. But this last summer in 2021, my buddy Matt got us some swimming dogs, shallow swimming dogs. This one's got the magnets, screw-in magnets on it. This one's caught quite a few fish, and on the attached video, I think the fish we catch actually hits this very particular one. But we have quite a few of them, and it's a lure that I just found myself going back to towards the end of the year. I could use this in a variety of ways over the remnants of weeds later into the end of September. I think a lot of people over the past couple of years, the hype was there, and then people just kind of drifted away from them. And we went back to them, and it's one that we just had a really good amount of success with, and one that we'll be using a lot more next year. And we're hoping to get some of those mega size swimming dogs. Really looking forward to that for next year as well. In the weeds on a swimming dog, and he's been running this thing for a few hours. It's not a real big one, but it's a good start for our evening, and we are right in kind of the prime time.
We saw it on you.
Oh, look, he just turned off.
He turned. He turned. He's coming back. He went down. Just work it slow. Yeah, get down there. He just went deep and turned and hung. He's still on you.
Hey guys, so we're fishing a shallower chunk of narrows here. So I threw on a shallow swimming dog, and this fish come in like ultra hot, rolled off, went deep. I didn't see him, and Dave told me to stick with it because he seen him go under the boat and just hang. So I did what, 2 or 3 turns, Dave?
Deep, yeah, and then he come out like a...
You told me to go deep, so I did. I couldn't see where he went. I went deep, and then I rolled back, and he come out of nowhere, and he meant business. Like Dave said, he pretty much hit second gear coming up, and he hit the swimming dog on the outside of the turn. But this year, for whatever reason, I just found myself going back. I hate to say an old school lure because it's not really all that old, but the Medusa. We went back to throwing some Medusas in some certain situations where we wanted a little more glide out of it and a little less hop like a toad has. And it was one that straight away I started having good success, particularly on this orange and black. It's such an amazing color pretty much everywhere. And the Medusa is one of them that I'm surprised we kind of drifted away from, and I'm glad that we found it again.
There we go.
Dad's going. Easy, baby. Watch, go to the other side of the boat a little bit, Kate. You don't have to go all the way, just a little bit.
He's right here, Kai.
Where? The back?
Right here.
Look, he's coming this way.
Good. We just got hit. I lost it. I kind of cast back and it hit again. Chaos tackle, Medusa. That color works everywhere, and it certainly worked here. It's not a huge one, but it's a pretty nice one just the same. Well, let's have a look at them. There we go. Last but not least, in number 1, again, no real particular order, but anybody who's followed us this year, and especially followed me, knows that this Dadson with the dangle blade was definitely all the rage for us this year. There's a couple different styles of it, and I do have a couple more. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's not that revolutionary. There's other lures that are like it. And there is. Here's a Mayhem JR3, which again is very similar with the dangle blade. The hook at the back, slightly different that this has the hook behind the blade. This one has the blade and the hook is in front of it. The only difference, and I could probably modify this so I would be a little bit happier with it, is we modify it with some shrink wrap down there so that that dangle can't flop around like it can on the Mayhem. We just find we have a little bit better success with it. This is an older one from Leaders and Lures that Dave picked up at one of the shows. It's got twin little dangle blades on the back. And this one, Dave's got 2 or 3 of these, and we had really good success with these over the years too. And then we just kind of drifted away from them. And then Dadson gave us a couple with the dangle blades, and they just seemed really popular for us this year. We had really good luck. Here's something new. This is from Drop Tine Tackle. This is his new base jumper. And again, it's got a dangle blade at the back behind the hook. But again, back to the Dadson. Anybody who's followed me has seen this lure all year. It was my number 1 lure. I had the most success with a bucktail probably ever straight out of the gate with this one. Again, I don't know what makes it super special. Just when you get confidence in a lure, you start throwing it more than you would anything else. And we caught a ton of fish on this. So I think that going into next year, this will be one of my top baits. And I think it's one that all you guys out there should get something with this dangle style blade at the back. It's thick. Come in hot, right off with some shallow rock. Again, guys, the Dadson blade bait. I fixed it this morning. It's got a bend to it. We're gonna bend her straight, and Hunter and I are gonna go for more tonight. Stay tuned. Come around. Dadson, same one I was throwing the other day with the dangle blade, and we got a big tiger in the bag here. We'll have a look at it. Looks like it's got a humpback, or maybe it had a broken back at one time. Okay, we'll pull her out of the bag here and have a look at her.
Definitely got a weird hump in the back.
It definitely has a weird hump in the back. I got a Dadson with a dangle blade. This is one that Sam Dadson made for me. We got one in the bag here. We'll have a quick look at it. It hit way out from the boat, and it is full of piss and vinegar. This is our third spot, I think, Hunter, fourth spot. We'd seen one right on our very first spot, and again, the lucky Dadson's got another one. Want to give an honorary mention in our top 5 lures of 2021 to the Drop Tine prototype spinnerbait, but we did get a really nice tiger on it on video, so I include that. But for a small frame spinnerbait with a single blade, this just grinds like crazy in the water. We have a couple different colors, and it's one that I know next year we're going to be using a lot more, and it's one that the guys over at Drop Tine Tackle have said will be available in 2022. So this is one, definitely keep an eye out. Anybody that likes a smaller spinnerbait, this is going to be one that everybody's going to want. We caught it on a prototype spinnerbait from Drop Tine Tackle.
I recognize, look at his snout on this poor guy. Look at his nose.
Oh yeah, he's got,
Hey, can you look out, please?
he's got a stub nose for sure on this one. Pretty recognizable fish. Kenzie's gonna get a couple pictures here. I appreciate every single one of you guys out there that supported the channel this year and helped us grow as much as we have. We're super thrilled. We're really looking forward to 2022. We have our website up and running. I'll put a link down below for that. And we're going to be bringing lots of cool content this year. We're going to be using the community tab on YouTube to give you guys a lot of polls, because I want to hear what you guys want to hear or see from us. And we're hopefully going into 22, we're going to have some great content all winter, some ice fishing. We kept a couple musky videos from last summer for you guys. And until next time, 54 Bust is out of here, and we're going to catch you guys out on the water later.